Can we use AI to solve business problems and ask questions and get answers about relatively complex problems, but purely logical problems, using logic and simple maths? I'm not talking about coding. I'm not talking about custom development. I'm not talking about retrieval, augmented generation using a knowledge base. Can we use AI to find out things like item availability, for example? I am going to use Grok now, and I'm going to use ChatGPT and other language models and ask questions that are pure logic and simple maths. Let's see if AI gets it right. Let's start with Grok. Hi, I have a question about inventory management, particularly about item and inventory availability in a system like Dynamics Business Central. Can you help me?
Sure, let's talk inventory. Hey, totally. I'm happy to help with Dynamics 365 Business Central inventory stuff. What exactly are you trying to figure out? Like checking item stock levels, availability across locations, reservations, or maybe something trickier, like how QTI on hand versus available inventory actually works? Just throw me the details.
Right, here's the details. I have an item number 1996-S, and the system shows quantity on hand of 503 pieces, units. I have a sales order, and a sales order shows a quantity on sales order of 81. The system tells me that available inventory is 503, but item availability is 400. Is that correct? Help me understand what that means.
Okay, let's break this down real quick. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a classic Business Central gotcha. So here's what's happening. Quantity on hand is 503. That's your real physical stock right now. No future stuff factored in. The available inventory showing 503, that's probably the on-hand or free stock before any commitments, like what you could sell today if nothing else was pending. But then item availability, or projected available balance, drops to 400. That view looks ahead. It subtracts committed demand, like your 81 pieces already on that sales order, from the current stock. So basically, 503 minus 81 equals 422. But you're seeing 400? That extra 22 gap could be reservations. Maybe the sales order auto-reserved some, or other sneaky commitments, like a production order component, service job, or even warehouse pick allocations. Business Central loves hiding those in the background. Quick check. Open the item card. Hit item availability by event or by period. It'll show the timeline. You'll probably see the 81 as a gross requirement pulling it down. If there's incoming stock, like a purchase order for 81, that might bump the projected up later. But right now, you're short for anything new. Does that match what you're seeing? Want me to walk you through pulling up those views?
You say that available inventory is free stock, but I told you that I have 81 on a sales order. So physical stock is 503, available inventory is 503, but I have 81 on a sales order. So that cannot be free stock, right?
Good catch. Let's clear this up. Yeah, you're right. That's confusing at first. But here's the deal. In Business Central, available inventory, or whatever field you're seeing as 503, often just means the current physical stock, same as quantity on hand. It doesn't auto-subtract open sales orders unless they're actually reserved against that stock. Your 81 on the sales order, it's a commitment, gross requirement. But if no reservation happened, like if the order isn't set to reserve automatically, or if it's not picked, allocated yet, it won't touch the available inventory number. The system thinks, hey, 503 is still there, until someone reserves or ships it. That's why item availability, the 400 you're seeing, is smarter. It looks at projected stuff, on hand minus all committed demand, including that 81 as a sales line. So yeah, free stock isn't really 503 anymore. The real playable amount is closer to 422, or 400 if there's another tiny reservation hiding. Bottom line, available inventory equals snapshot of now, ignores future promises. Item availability equals what you can actually promise without drama. Want to check? Go to the sales order line, look at the fact box, see if it says reserved quantity for that 81, or peek at reservation entries on the item. If it's 0 reserved, that's your culprit.
Right, I think we're getting there. I have no reservations, so the 81 are not reserved. That means I'm still not sure about the extra 20-something items. How do I find them?
Got it. Let's hunt those missing pieces down. Okay, since you've confirmed no reservations on that 81, the gap's gotta be from other gross requirements, stuff Business Central subtracts anyway, reservations or not. That extra 20-ish? Super common culprits. A tiny service order line, like parts for a repair job. An outbound transfer order to another warehouse. Production order components. Maybe a BOM needs 20 pieces as raw material, even if not started yet. Or even a small sales blanket order you forgot about. To track them down fast. 1. Open the item card for 1996S. 2. Click Related, Availability by Event, or just Item Availability by Event. 3. Look at the timeline. Expand any line showing a drop. It'll list the exact doc: sales, service, transfer, production. 4. Scan for gross requirements column. Anything besides your 81? That's your missing 20 to 22. Drill into the doc number to see details. If nothing jumps out, try net requirements from the same menu. It shows dependent demand like production needs. Or peek at reservation entries again, just to double-check hidden auto reserves. Hit me if you spot something weird in there.
Right, I checked item availability by event and I found 2 other sales orders, one for 12 and one for 10 units. So the availability is clear now. In total, we have 3 orders. My order of 81 units and 2 more orders, one for 10, one for 12. Now, I want to be sure that my 81 units are picked and shipped for this customer. So I use the reservation and I have reserved 81 units for this item, for this order. Now the system shows item availability 400, not changed. Available inventory went down to 422. What does that mean?
Got it. Let's unpack what happened after reserving. Yeah, that shift makes sense now. Reserving your 81 locked it in for this customer, but it didn't change the big picture numbers the way you might think. Here's the breakdown. Item availability, probably the projected available balance in by event, stays at 400 because reservations don't subtract from that view. It's still calculating. On hand, 503 minus all open demands, like your 81 plus 12 plus 10 equals 103 total gross requirements. So 503 minus 103 equals 400. The reservation just tags these 81 are for this order, It doesn't add extra demand or remove stock from the projection until you actually ship. Available inventory dropping to 422? That's the real win. It now shows the unreserved or free stock, meaning after your reservation, only 422 is left for anyone else. The system went 503, total, reserve 81, 422 available to promise to new orders. In short, your 81 is safe, reserved, so no one else can grab it. But the availability views still see the full 103 committed, including the other 2 orders. Only the available inventory field updates to reflect what's truly free. If you want to double check, on the sales order line, look at reserved quantity, should be 81. Then peek at reservation entries from the item or line. It'll show your lock. And if you run item availability by, again, the gross rec line for your order might even flag as reserved now. All good? Or want to test shipping a bit to see it drop?
Now it's okay. So what's my free stock? 400 or 422?
Good question. Let's sort this out quick. Your free stock, the stuff you can actually promise to new customers without stepping on toes, is 422. That's the unreserved portion, 503 on hand, minus your 81 reserved for this order. The other 2 sales orders, 10 plus 12, are still just commitments, not locked, so they don't eat into free yet, until someone reserves or ships them. The 400? That's the projected view. Total on hand minus all open demands, 103 total. It's what you'd have left if everything shipped tomorrow, but it ignores reservations. So yeah, for real world, what can I sell right now? Go with 422. Make sense?
What can I sell right now is 422. So physical stock minus reserved. So if I now create another order for 300 pieces, actually to 400 units, and I don't reserve them, will I still have 422 free stock?
Good question. Let's sort this out quick. No, your free stock stays at 422, even after adding that 400 unit order without reserving. Here's why. Free stock, what you can promise right now, is basically quantity on hand minus reserved quantities. Your 81 is reserved, so 503 minus 81 equals 422 left unreserved. Creating the new order, it adds to gross requirements. Yeah, it'll pull down the projected availability, that 400 number, even more, like 503 minus 81 plus 12 plus 10 plus 400 equals negative territory. But since you didn't reserve, it doesn't lock any physical units. No change to your unreserved pile. Still 422 free for whoever grabs it first. Could be this new order or someone else. Only if you reserved all of the 400 would free drop. Otherwise, the system's like, sure, 422's still up for grabs. Good luck. So yeah, you could even sell more than 422 today if you wanted. Just risk overcommitting if the other orders ship first. Want to auto-reserve on new orders? Check your item setup.
Hold on.
Or
You
sales.
say that my free stock stays at 422. That's what I can sell. So in theory, I can sell more than my physical stock. If every time I create a new sales order in my system and I don't reserve stock for it, that does not take available inventory down, then essentially, in theory, I am free to sell 10,000 units, even if I have 500 in stock, because available inventory never goes down. How does it work?
Yeah, you're spot on. That's exactly how it works. Yeah, you're nailing it. That's precisely how Business Central lets you overcommit if you're not careful. If you keep creating sales orders without reserving, available inventory, the unreserved free number, stays stuck at 422 forever, doesn't budge. You could theoretically book 10,000 units tomorrow, and the system wouldn't scream until someone actually tries to pick or ship. Then it checks real stock and blocks you if you're short. Or you run ATP, available to promise on a new line. It'll say, nah, only 422 left, because it factors in all open commitments, even unreserved ones. Warehouse folks start picking the other orders first. Your big 10K line gets zeroed out fast. So yes, you can sell way more than physical stock, on paper, but it's fake safety. The system trusts you to manage reservations or use ATP checks. Most companies force auto-reserve on sales lines or use planning tools to avoid this trap. Bottom line, free stock is 422 today. Beyond that, you're borrowing from future chaos. Want to lock it down? Turn on reserve default on items, or just reserve manually every time.
If I reserve manually every time orders that I'm going to ship in months, I lock inventory and I commit inventory for every sales order. Even sales orders for customers on credit limit, even sales orders for customers that want goods shipped in 6 months that I can replenish in 1 month. I think you're confusing available inventory, which is physical stock minus reservation, and item availability, which is free stock. Free stock goes down every time I create a new sales order. And Business Central tells me, gives me a warning about available inventory. Let's not confuse available inventory, physical stock minus reservations, and item availability, which is free stock.
Got it. Let's clear up these terms once and for all. Yeah, you're spot on. Let's straighten this out without the mix-up. In Business Central, available inventory, or QT available in some spots, is physical stock minus reservations. That's your free, unlocked stock right now. Reservations lock it down, so new orders can't grab it. Item availability, like in by event or projected available balance, is the forward-looking view, on hand plus incoming minus all gross requirements, every open sales order, even unreserved ones. Reservations, they don't change this number because gross requirements stay the same whether reserved or not. The system still sees the demand as there, just tagged to you. So when you reserve for a far-out order, available inventory drops, free stock shrinks, good for protecting your shipment. Projected item availability stays put, still subtracts the full demand, reserved or not. And yeah, if you reserve everything early, even credit risk or 6-month out stuff, you're tying up stock that could be sold sooner or replenished. But that's the trade-off. Lock it or risk someone else snagging it. No warning on new orders unless ATP kicks in. It checks projected, not just free. But if you over-reserve, picking shipping later hits shortages. Clearer now?
So if I want to create a Power BI report for my sales team that gives them physical quantity, physical inventory by location, and free stock as of today, what do I need to do? How do I create this report, and how do I put together the formulas in this report?
Okay, let's build that Power BI report step by step. Hey, great. Let's get your sales team a clean Power BI dashboard showing physical quantity, on hand, by location, and free stock. That's physical minus reservations, as of today. First off, Business Central has a built-in inventory by location Power BI report. It's perfect for physical quantity by location. Just go into BC, search for inventory by location, or hit page 37023, and it'll show you inventory levels broken down by location, item, category. It pulls from item ledger entries, and location tables. So yeah, that's your real physical stock snapshot. If it's not there yet, needs 2024 Wave 2 Plus, grab the Power BI Inventory app from Microsoft. Install it via the BC App Store or directly publish to your workspace. Super quick, no coding. But for free stock, That built-in doesn't subtract reservations automatically. Reservations live in the reservation entry table. It's accessible via the BC connector in Power BI. Might need admin to expose it if not already. So, to make it custom, 1. Connect Power BI to BC. Use the Dynamics 365 Business Central connector. Load these. Item ledger entries for physical quantity. Sum quantity where entry type is positive negative adjustments. Filtered to today's date if needed. It's a running total. Sum all entries.
Okay, this is getting out of hand. Of course, it's overcomplicating stuff. It's still pointing to this reservation concept, and Grok cannot get past it. Cannot just forget about this reservation. It's somehow embedded into this model because I think the statistical element of a language model is looking at inventory, reservation as reserved quantities, as something that subtracts from availability, therefore free stock. In reality, it's much more simple than that. You have the item card with the quantity on hand, which is a query, and you have quantity on sales orders. And that's all you need to do. Looking at reservations and comparing quantity on hand, and again, it's telling me to look at plus and minus. Well, actually, all you need to do, if you actually see it here, this is a very good example. This is a very good query. The remaining quantity on the item ledger entry related to the item and to the location, because the location card is on the item ledger entry, already gives me the physical stock. I don't need to get the reservation here because the reservation is a sub entry. It's a link to an existing source document. I can only reserve items on existing sales orders or on existing production orders or existing transfer orders. All I need to do now is to look at the item by location and maybe using this query here, the analysis view, I can add another field from the item card that calculates the quantity on sales orders for this specific location here. It's a very simple Excel sheet. I can either probably play with analysis view using an additional table here, or use edit in Excel and get data from 2 or 3 tables and put something very simple together. The purpose of this video was not really about how to check if Grok is getting it right, because Grok is just one of the many language models that it will give you that kind of response. And if you use ChatGPT, if you use Claude, you might get different answers in terms of the tone of the voice, or maybe a different style. Maybe Claude will get it better depending on the module here. I'm using a paid version of Grok. I use it for research because Grok, in my opinion, is superior in terms of finding info online. But when it needs to generate something, ChatGPT or Claude are superior. But that really doesn't matter. What I wanted to show you now, really with this simple video, is that something as simple as free stock, physical inventory, and item availability using AI can easily get out of hand. And if you don't really understand inventory management and you rely entirely on AI, you will soon end up with a bloated project and a Power BI dashboard with DAX and enormous formulas and that you don't need. And in this model here, in this version, this report, it will double count sales orders because it will put sales orders and reservations, and it will sum up the two. So you end up with a report that shows you incorrect figures. So a lot of time, a lot of money spent on credit and overcomplicating something which is very simple. So now you might argue, well, Alfredo, you should have given Grok a better context, a better prompt. Right. I get that. Maybe with a better prompt, I could have gotten something better. But still, something as simple as inventory availability, which is critical for any organization that needs to manage inventory management, and something which has been an industry standard, I don't know, since the 1950s or 60s, right? Using ERPs, inventory management software that does simple maths, can easily get out of control, can be over-engineered, and return incorrect figures. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I am happy to test another model, but really this is not about me trying to push one model or another. Grok, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini is beyond the point. The point I'm trying to make is that a system like language model based on statistical analysis, based on probability, which is not deterministic, it's not based on actual rules, rules that we create in an ERP with algorithm, right? Data models, logic, business rules, code units, right? In Business Central. Free stock, quantity on hand is this calculation. Plus, minus, that's it. Filters, very simple rules. Artificial intelligence works on a statistical, probabilistic method. And words, synonyms, and common knowledge can easily get in the way. And so, by all means, use AI is a fantastic tool. Use it with care, because you might end up over-engineering something very simple and end up with the wrong data. Looking forward to hear your comments.